Hello, ECAN Nation. Welcome to a new edition of This Week in Karting, episode 87, August 5th, 2025. My name is Rob Howden, joined as always by David Coles. We'll bring you all the major news that's hit the ECAN homepage over the last couple of weeks. It's been really only a couple of weeks since we did our last show, so getting a little better. Episode 86 was back on July 14th, but let's dive into this thing by talking first about our presenting sponsor for this edition of the show, Sodi Racing USA. What brand is known around the world for its innovation and success? It is Sodi Kart. The Sodi brand returned in full force during the 2023 season thanks to a new exclusive importer, the Karting Distribution, led by industry veteran Terry Germanovich. The French manufacturer Sodi Kart is a leader within the karting industry, offering a wide range of products and services. Visit Sodi-Racing-USA.com to learn more about the Sodi Kart chassis or call 954-634-5111 to become part of the Sodi Racing USA network today. Sodi Kart, the world leader in the karting industry. All right, David, we're looking at like 20 days since our last show, so better. We're getting more regular with This Week in Karting, but lots to talk about for sure.
Yeah, again, it's not just it's a weekly show. It's just a better title, I think, more than anything. So, yeah, it's just a podcast so we can hit news and notes and stuff that's going on around the sport. And yeah, sometimes we're at events, so we got debriefs and outlaps to record and other stuff going on and travel schedules. So yeah, not always a good time, but yeah, it's we're getting closer to at least a bi-weekly show.
Yeah, I think so. We're working on it, but this bi-week in karting doesn't sound that good.
No, that's why I said this month in karting, it didn't sound good either. So it
could also end up being a 5-hour show if it was this month in karting.
That too, yeah. It just depends on the amount of information there is.
All right, well let's dive into it right now. Get into this episode. Obviously, big thing right now happening, David. And it was wild to see SuperKarts USA opening their registration for Super Nationals 28 and over 500 entries in 72 hours. That I was messaging a little bit with Tom Kutcher about it. Unbelievable the amount of people that jumped in quickly, and so they should. As we know from years past, man, if you didn't jump in quick, you're not getting in. And let's talk about how many classes are already sold out.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing the stats that came through for registration over the weekend. And again, as you said, over 500 entries. So we are probably top 5 right now. We're close to the top 5 in terms of biggest Supernats in history. So we're working towards the record again. 603, I think, is what I said is the record from 2013. Wow. But again, that was 12 categories. Yeah. This one is only 9. So KA100 Senior, we expected that to get to 88, and it already has. It's sold out. It will not expand any further as SuperKarts USA, I don't think since 2008, where we went back to the Rio and they opened up Tag Senior, I think we went up to a 120. I think we maybe sold over 100 entries in that class. But yes, they're going to keep KA100 Senior at 88, so that's sold out. So if you're not in, start bargaining your way in somehow.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
K100 Junior and Pro X30 have opened up to 88, and both are on their way to selling out. So we'll see a massive field in Pro X30, and then once again another sold out, probably to 88 for K100 Junior. X30 Junior Pro Shifter already sold out at 44. And SuperKarts USA is evaluating the expansion for one, both, or either to 88. So Rob, that's the thing. I got to expect Pro Shifter will expand because they did that the last couple of years.
Come on.
I don't think X30 is going to get into the 70s, 60s, or 70s that Pro Shifter has in the past. Again, they were at 68. Pro X30 was at 68 last year. So maybe we're seeing an influx of those racers coming in to at least open that up to 88. But again, it is the pro categories. Yeah, they should be opened up.
I don't want to see them do anything to stifle what is now great momentum for Pro Shifter racing, right? There's a lot of, again, we know that they don't run a lot of races. They're not running 20, 30 races a year. We know that from where we see them, what races they come to. This is the big one for shifter kart drivers. It's the big show at the Super Nats. Remember, the Super Nationals was born as a shifter kart race. That's all it was back in the early days, was just straight shifter karts. So with the momentum, with the excitement around pro shifter racing right now, 100% they got to open that to 88. And hey, you know what? If it goes past 88, keep going, because you can't stop. You don't want to put any kind of a hold on pro shifter.
It hasn't. Like I said, last year was at 68. So
I don't know that it's 88, but I'm just saying, if amazing,
yes,
it did,
it'll get
going
to 80. It should expand. I don't foresee X30 Junior expanding, just because of the way the schedule plays out. That's just going to add. That will add a lot to the schedule in terms of adding a second group for X30 Junior, especially when we keep talking. KA100 Master sold out at 44. That will not be expanded. Mini Swift is sold out at 52 because, of course, there'll be cancellations.
Yeah.
That will not be expanded. Micro Swift is on the brink of selling out at 44, and that will not be expanded. And neither will Master Shifter, which is over half full to its 44 driver cap. So, and that sold out last year as well, too. Yeah. So I got to assume that Pro Shifter 100% will get expanded. So that's good news. And I'd love to see 88 in Pro Shifter. That would definitely take the event to its record, because, as again, I said, 68 is what they had last year. You get 20 more with everything else getting sold out. You're going to get over that 600 mark. Wow. So yeah, that's the story right now. I already seen on social media guys bitching about not getting in. They had a month to know. They knew this was coming.
Yeah.
They didn't pull the trigger. You got K100 Masters guys wanting that class to expand. It won't. No. Just simply for the fact that the other categories have already surpassed that number.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do, as you said. So big numbers. It's gonna be great. Gonna be a great weekend for sure for Supernats 28, my 28th. Looking forward to getting out to Vegas again. One thing, David, back at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino, the room block now set up. So if you're going to go to the event, make sure you get to the Westgate, get signed in through the room block, get everything dialed in for the price you can get at the Westgate special.
So since we're talking, we'll dabble a little bit on opinions. Right. What do you think? The only way they could, like, if the numbers continue to keep going like this, like we've seen in the last couple of years, the only way they could probably extend or open up the categories would be to add another day of competition. Do you think that's likely?
Well, I don't know that they like. Okay, are you going to always have Wednesday, Thursday, or you could take over Thursday? Let's be real. Give them 1 day of practice. You don't need 2 full days of practice, right? It's good, but you don't need 2 full days of practice. They could literally, you could go out, do 3 practice sessions, and qualify on Wednesday and start racing on Thursday.
Well, if they were to expand, it would only be 3 sessions on Wednesday because you're expanding.
Well, there you go.
Right. So then you have, I think there's, what are we at now? Only 2 practice sessions on Thursday. I'm trying to remember.
Oh no, you're right. No, you're right. There's only 2 in the morning, and then I have to go back to the schedule.
I can't pull it up last year because it's on the external drive and I unplugged.
So here's a question, Dave. Because people are there pretty early, right? Remember, there was a time when people weren't even really loading in until Sunday and Monday, right? Now a lot of people are loaded in a lot earlier. Do you think we're good to go to be on track on Tuesday? Is that your thought? If we had to do that, push to Tuesday?
Well, if there's an opportunity to continue expanding the categories, because if you're able, mini and micro could possibly get to 88 in the next couple of years, as much as we've seen the youth movement kind of going in karting right now, because there's probably a lot of international people that don't even bother with it because of it's being sold out within 72 hours of opening. Possible. So there's that possibility. So yeah, my thought is to be able to open up all these categories. Adding another day allows you to at least get your 5 sessions of practice in at least over Tuesday and Wednesday before you get into your qualifying and heat races. Because I think you still need to have the 3 heat races. It kind of separates.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
And then, then it's becoming the problem then is you don't have a lot of time on racetrack. So you're there for 6 days of on-track action, but you're not on the racetrack a lot over that 6 days. So I'm trying to find that happy medium of enough track time, but not being bored out of your mind. The morning and afternoon groups certainly help with that. But But yeah, I mean, there's a way to do it. It's a matter of being able to get the industry to support it. And because obviously the numbers are there. I think if we've seen over 5, even at the Rio, when we went back to the Rio, it was a massive event that probably could have went 6 days as well too. So I don't know. I think if the industry can get behind it, and the manufacturers get behind a little bit more, help out Supercarts USA, because that's a whole nother day.
Yeah.
You're paying people to be on the racetrack, and it adds up.
And to rent the facility. Again, it's whether or not do we have to push, like, does load in become a day earlier? Does everything have to become a day earlier?
I don't think so, because it seems like when, especially when we're there on Tuesday, everybody's so relaxed and just chilled out because everything's done Saturday, Sunday, even on Monday. That Tuesday is kind of like just like fitting and making sure everybody has their sticker kits on, making sure you've done this and you've done that. There's at least for the race teams themselves, the haulers and tents are already set up Saturday, Sunday. Monday's about building. Tuesday's about building too, for those kind of last minute programs put together.
Yeah, it's, again, all thoughts of potential growth. Again, not to stifle growth, right? As you said, there could be some drivers or a number of drivers internationally that just know that they're not going to be able to get in or roll in the dice. And we know there's a lot of people that are national, local to the U.S. And Canada that haven't been able to get in because they just weren't able to get entered in time. So, yeah, always a good conversation for sure. I honestly like to hear first and foremost what the industry thought about it. Like, what are the teams? Like, let's start with the teams. Are you guys interested in that? Would that be something you'd be doing? Can you even house more? For a lot of these teams, David, as we know, the SuperNAS is that one race where they add a bunch of extra guys. Like if we were to add if you're adding another 40 entries or whatever, how many people are in the industry that can support 40 more entries? How many teams could do 4 more guys, or are most of them flat out, right?
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, that's something we can bring up in September. Definitely start talking about it, looking at for next year for Super.
Hey, write this down. We'll do a roundtable in September and bring some of our major players on. I love that idea.
We can try and do that.
Let's do it. Speaking of the Rio, there will be a race at the Rio this year. Again, Rock Vegas. Back to the Rio, David. And they just announced their prize package. A lot going on. Let's talk about the prize package. Let's talk about the new engine package. Let's talk about everything that's going on with Rock Vegas.
Yeah, again, they've announced their prize package over $110,000, including $40,000 alone in cash prizes. So that's going to be up for grabs. So again, focusing on giving back to the competitors at the event. New for this year will be the Rock SV Pro category. That's a new category. It's going to replace the Rock GP Pro division. This is a limited category where there's only going to be 25 entries. They're going to have an engine raffle. So your entry comes in and it's kind of like the road tax program where you come in, you get your engine, and that's your engine for the event. So that's going to be a unique thing. We're working on an article kind of detailing this new Rock SV engine platform to provide people some information. A lot of the entries are going towards class sponsors as well. So we just talked about Rollison Performance Group, GFC Karting, Rocket Racing Company, Orsalon Racing. Those are some of the first class sponsors for the event. So they're going to have at least one entry towards that new Rock SV Pro category. So it'll be interesting to see the drivers selected for some of these teams. So kind of very my F1 style format a little bit. So we'll see how this goes for the category. They are also adding the Supermaster category for the VLR and the shifter category. So 40 and older drivers going to have their own class within a class type scenario, where the VLR Supermaster runs with VLR Masters and the shifter Supermasters runs with the regular Masters category. So hearing good numbers for both of those divisions, especially with the VLR Supermaster, and then a lot of the NorCal competitors coming up to race Rock Vegas in Supermasters as well.
I like that. Cool.
Again, hotel confirmation number requirement. There is some information about that. So make sure you head over to rockcupusa.com to get all the information you need for the Rock Vegas event, which is scheduled for October. Oh, I forgot the dates. October 29th, November 2nd.
There you have it. So again, a couple of big Vegas races, as we know, coming up. Super Nationals 28 and Rock Vegas at the Rio. Supernats out at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. All right, on to our first break. When we get back, we're going to go from Rock and Scusa to Race Rotax and look at the little FIA Karting European Championships as well. The 30th edition of the world's largest street race for karting is coming this Labor Day weekend. On August 30 to 31st, the Extreme Rock Island Grand Prix will feature racing for everyone from grassroots and vintage racers to some of the best national single-speed and shifter car drivers from North America, all at one venue. This historic event promotes fun on and off the track over the Labor Day weekend, with a focus on making sure the racers, the spectators, and everyone involved enjoys a safe 2 days of racing. The 2025 edition returns to the original layout after moving to different streets in 2024, now with a revitalized downtown district and newly repaved streets making up the 6/10 mile circuit in the heart of Rock Island, Illinois. The three headline categories, King of the Streets, King of the Rock Briggs 206, and King of the Rock 100cc, return as the must-win races at the Rock Island Grand Prix. The Margay Ignite Shootout is back for another year, featuring drivers in senior and masters competition. The Extreme Rock Island Grand Prix is the most fun you can have on and off the track. Learn more by visiting racerockisland.info. Parolin is among the winningest brands in the USA and around the world. The Parolin Le Mans full-size chassis for junior and senior classes and the Parolin Opportunity model for cadet divisions have earned success weekend after weekend at all the major championships and events in both the USA and throughout Europe. The Parolin chassis lineup also includes the Invader shifter, along with the Daytona 4-cycle chassis and the Delfino Kid Kart. Karters can head to the ParolinUSA.com website where the entire chassis line and parts are available to you, with shipping available all across North America. Parolin USA partners with several companies and race teams across the country to provide a strong dealer network to represent the brand locally and at the national level to support drivers throughout North America. Get on the chassis that's winning. Drive a Parolin. Welcome back to episode 87 of This Week in Karting. My name is Rob Howden, joined by David Cole, August the 5th, 2025. Race Rotax confirming the dates and location for this year's RMC US Trophy Final. David, the event back to Newcastle Motorsports Park.
October 17th through the 19th, heading back to Newcastle Motorsports Park for the RMC US Trophy Final, where tickets for the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals will be up for grabs. The Mini Max, Junior Max, Senior Max, and DD2 categories will all have tickets to the Rotax Grand Finals. This will be the last chance for competitors anywhere around the world to be able to grab tickets to what we call the Olympics of Karting. Additional prizes will be available for Micro Max and Masters Max divisions, which will also run on the weekend as well. Again, the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals will be at the Bahrain International Karting Circuit on November 29th to December 6th. And registration for the U.S. Trophy Final opens up on August 15th.
10 days from today, August 15th, get yourself signed up for the Race Rotax U.S. Trophy Final. Henry Beaudet will be there on the microphone as well, the voice of Rotax globally. But yeah, last opportunity, as David said, to get those tickets to be part of your national team at the Grand Finals. David, give us a little update on what's happened recently, the champions for the FIA Karting European Championships.
Yes, the OK and OK Junior categories wrapped up the European Championship in Denmark with wet finals. So a little wrench thrown at the categories there in Denmark with weather. Shifter car driver, KZ driver, world champion Victor Gustafsson was able to score the win in Denmark on the CRG, making it a CRG 1-2 in the OK category. So a big weekend for CRG brand with UK driver Kenzo Craigie finishing in the third position. In the championship, however, it was Parolin scoring the championship with Christian Costoya winning the title, going into, I think it's the fourth time for a European championship for the Parolin brand. So a good positive for that. And then Rob, Canada you want to sing the national anthem or not?
I could. No, I would never do that for you guys. I wanted you to say who finished second in the championship. Okay.
You know what? I looked at that name and I kept working on it. It was James Enog Nostidas.
Nostidas. That's tough. James Nostidas.
Yeah, I don't know how you get through life with that last name.
That's tough. Zach Drummond finished third. Illy Kristen ends up winning the championship, the Canadian on the Tony kart. Okay, Junior.
Winning the weekend.
Winning the weekend. How great is that? That's awesome.
Yeah, so a driver, I don't think I've ever actually seen race here in North America. I think he's raced a lot in Europe. Actually was a CRG driver at one time in the cadet ranks, but racing with Tony Kart factory team, winning the OK Junior main event over Luca Scalise, the French driver for Kart Republic, and then William Kala. I can't see it. Kaleha, you think? From Australia on the Esprit, finishing in third. So I'll let you say the names in the championship.
I'm trying to see where Ile's from. I don't.
Kristen?
Yeah.
Where he's from?
Well, yeah, where he's actually from. Ile Tristan Cresson.
I think he's lived over there for. I don't think he's actually lived over here, but
I don't see.
It could be one of those drivers that has a dual citizenship, possibly. I'm not quite sure.
So, Dean Hugendorn ends up winning the championship. Noah Baglin in second, and William Kaleha, as we said, in the third spot. Let's talk about the Americans that were in the fight, though, David.
Yeah, so we thought going into the weekend it was going to be a good weekend for USA. We saw Michael McGoy and Turner Brown the weekend before going 1-2 at the Champions of the Future event the weekend prior as a warm-up event. However, they both had tough qualifying sessions. McGoy actually not even recording a lap. So for him to drive up and through all the heat races after qualifying dead last and make the main, he ended up finishing 30th in the final on Sunday at the European Championship finale, while Turner Brown did lead the way for USA drivers, finishing in the 7th spot. Drew Waltz and Devin Waltz finished 22nd and 31st respectively to wrap up the European Championships. So everything kind of focuses for them now going to the FIA Karting World Championships that will be coming here, I believe, in September. I'm looking that up. I forgot to write it down. It'll be the September 11th through 14th. Weekend. So about just over a month away before they head to Sweden for the World Championships.
Yeah, it's been good to see a number of drivers that we've seen from the U.S. and Canada being very impressive over running in Europe. So best of luck to them. And in just over a month's time, all those drivers going to the World Championship. Another break. We come back. Time to detail some of the eCan editorial that we put together that's made its way onto the website. And if you haven't had a chance to look at it, we'll give you a little update. A chance to go back and pick up some of the editorial that we cranked out here in the eCan office. What brand is known around the world for its innovation and success? It is Sodi Kart. The Sodi brand returned in full force during the 2023 season thanks to a new exclusive importer, the Karting Distribution, led by industry veteran Terry Germanovich. The French manufacturer Sodi Kart is a leader within the karting industry, offering a wide range of products and services. The Sodi Racing chassis line offers products in classes from mini karts to KZ, all based on years of development and championship seasons around the world. Sodi Racing USA has expanded its dealer network over the last year, bringing the Sodi brand to several local clubs and regional programs. Sodi USA by Velocity Racing is the official race team in the United States for the brand, hitting all the major events and series throughout the season. Visit Sodi-Racing-USA.com to learn more about the Sodi Kart chassis or call 954-634-5111 to become part of the Sodi Racing USA network today. Sodi Kart, the world leader in the karting industry. From Florida to California to Las Vegas, it's time to rock. The 2025 season for rockers begins in the Sunshine State as Rock Cup USA hosts the 27th edition of the Florida Winter Tour. The championship is underway, having welcomed competitors to the Orlando Kart Center over the January 17 to 19 weekend for round one of the title chase. Rockers return to the Orlando, Florida facility for round 2 of the championship on the February 14 to 16 weekend. For the first time in series history, the Florida Winter Tour will host an event outside the state, expanding its reach into Texas. The March 21 to 23 weekend is the date for the series finale at the popular Speed Sports Racing Park in New Caney, Texas. Be part of history as the Florida Winter Tour goes to the Lone Star State. Looking ahead, mark down the year-end celebration with the annual Rock Vegas event, set for October 29th to November 2nd at the Real All Suite Hotel and Casino. Visit rockcupusa.com for all the details and information surrounding the Florida Winter Tour, Rock Vegas, and more. Welcome back to episode 87 of This Week in Karting. Rob Howden here alongside David Cole. Now kind of dive into the little update of all the original editorial we've kicked out on the website as well. Obviously the first couple of segments of the show, more of the news that's worked its way into the EKN office, as I said. But David, let's have a look first and foremost with the EKN Driver of the Month for June 2025.
Paulie Massimino earned that honor with his victory at the United States Pro Kart Series Wisconsin Grand Prix in the X30 Pro division. Paulie picking up that win and I believe a podium finish as well in KA100 Senior. He will be going in looking for the KA100 Senior Championship next weekend when we head to the series finale. Paulie where did he end up? I think he finished third in the championship for the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour as well. So a pretty good season going so far for Paulie. No
doubt. Every once in a while, we try to get some of the products of our partners in the sport here with our product spotlight. David, you honed in on something from Comet Kart Sales.
Product spotlight for Comet Kart Sales included the new Precision Half Tooth 219 rear sprocket. So, Rob, what do you think of when I say half a tooth?
I don't know. Tell me.
Well, you're always trying to find that gear ratio.
I was going to say, yeah,
to give you a half a tooth.
Between this is between that.
Yeah, this new technology that they have with Precision rear sprocket allows you to change a half tooth. It's a quite unique technology that they have. Again, pretty simple when you look at it and understand the concept, but it's very. It gives you that little bit or that little less that you need in trying to find the right gear ratio when you're setting up your machine. So most likely this is very good for probably, I think, Briggs. I don't know if the KAs and X30s or other 2-cycle power plants are really trying to find a half tooth, but possibly you are. This is an option for you to look at. So check out the Precision Half Tooth 219 rear sprocket.
Where do you find that article on the site, Dave? Which segment? Just so people asking, what area did you?
Yeah, you can go on our feature segment. There's the product spotlight section.
There you go.
Under the features, and you can read all about it, or just head to cometkartsales.com and search up half tooth to get rear sprocket.
Good stuff. Awesome. Let's move on to the next segment here. One of the things I've been trying to throw out here, and I have 3 of them in the works right now, just waiting for questions to come back. But that's my Fast 5. It's essentially a 5-question interview to get a quick hit on some of the stuff and some of the people that are within the sport. And David, we were able to chat with Jeff Scott after this year's Quincy Grand Prix, after they put on what was probably the best one in the last number of years. Everyone's super excited, but it was cool to kind of chat with Jeff after it was all done, right? The pressure's off from putting on that massive race at South Park in Quincy, Illinois. And I was happy for him and the whole crew. They had a really, really great edition of the event in June.
Yeah, had to battle some weather issues. Other than that, got through it and was able to wrap things up for the 2025 edition. But you can tell he's still a promoter. He's still already thinking about next year. So that's I think the problem of being a promoter, right? You're always thinking about the next one.
That's it. One of the things we obviously do is kick out a bunch of race reports as well. Even when we're not trackside, we oftentimes try to knock out a race report. And Dave, you did one for the summer shootout of the Texas Sprint Racing Series.
Yeah, Texas Sprint Racing Series hosting their 3rd event of the 2025 season, held at the Kart Moto facility in Crescent, Texas. I've been to that facility when it was just the Motorsports Ranch. No kart track when I was there. So this is one of the newer karting facilities that they do have in Texas. Yeah. Second straight year that Texas Sprint Racing Series has been there. So check out who won on the weekend with our race report anywhere on the top story or news segments.
Very quick, I'm told. Very fast racetrack. Wide open and flowing is what I hear. So we gotta get.
Yeah, I haven't really talked to people about it. I haven't really watched onboard. Back and forth. That's the one thing when you come through the final section. It is. I think there's a right and a left. 180. So it gets you crossed up and lots of over-unders to close out a lap.
One of the things that obviously we've been looking at, and anybody who's trackside at the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour Summer Nationals saw, is they had a display at Newcastle Motorsports Park. But one of the big things right now, one of the hot topics, is the new FZ shifter program. And you put together an article, David, to kind of detail where they are with the FC shifter. They have officially rolled out this thing for public consumption and get it rolling all over the place. So tell me what you want about the FC shifter program.
Yeah, again, right now, 3 engine platforms available, the 65, the 85, and the 125, all focused on affordable racing for shifter karts. Put them on your cart and go. Looking again at club and regional level, kind of the brainchild of Billy Musgrave of Factory Karts. The FZ shifter has taken on its own brand, so it got its own social media as well too. So make sure you get on there and follow it. And they also have this unique engine lease program, which is $250 a month basically to lease an engine. So a very affordable way to get into shift kart racing. Do a lease for a couple of months. If you realize this is not for you, you can turn it back in, I guess. So it's a quite a revolutionary program that they're doing to try and get more people behind a shifter kart.
Yeah. So again, go onto the website, check out More Shift, Less Spend. That's the title for that FC shifter program. Essentially a modern day stock moto package. So they've done a lot of work on that to make it, like, again, easy, user friendly, and a lot less money to run. Last but not least, David, you did full EK trackside live coverage. You were down at the SCUSA Pro Tour Summer Nationals, Paddock Insider, you name it, everything lined up there.
Yeah, it was a wild weekend, to say the least. A very humid weekend. Lots of sweating. My legs are sweating, which is very unique. But this year, it was the finale for the 16th season of the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour. So wrapped that up, decided this year's champions. Got to see the Pro Shifter and Pro X30 go down to the wire. So excitement there. And got to see a third double champion in Alexander Vanchev. So a lot of interesting storylines throughout the weekend. So make sure you go check out all our race reports, daily race reports, and Paddock Insider from the Summer Nationals.
That's one of the things we obviously love to do with e-karting. It's kind of part of what we are as being the hub of North American karting, and that's to have the archive of these race reports. You're able to go back and see races from years and years ago. So indeed, this is one, if you haven't had a look at it yet, give a read. David does a full-on report and brings you up to speed on everything that happened at the Summer Nats. Let's go to the break. When we get back from this break, we got something new we're going to do. We're going to call it What's Hot. We're going to talk about the latest topics in the sport of karting. We've got a couple of topics we're going to hit on. David and I are going to go back and forth on it a little bit, and then maybe you guys can chime in on social media when we're all said and done. 2025 is shaping up to be another historic season for SuperKarts USA. A record-setting turnout competed at the 8th year of the SuperKarts USA Winter Series, including the largest non-Super Nationals event ever for the organization in January. Champions were crowned at the February event, setting the stage for the transition to the SCUSA Pro Tour. This year's Pro Tour is set to visit 3 different states from March to July. SCUSA made its Pro Tour debut in the Lone Star State with the Winter Nationals, held in March at the Speed Sports Racing Park in New Caney, Texas. The Spring Nationals is returning to the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati in Batavia, Ohio, over the Memorial Day weekend, May 23rd to 25th. For the 11th time, Newcastle Motorsports Park hosts the SCUSA Summer Nationals. This year's champions will be crowned over the July 25 to 27 weekend in Newcastle, Indiana. Regional action is heating up for 2025 with the flagship Pro Kart Challenge program hosting 5 race weekends at 3 spectacular facilities, including the new K1 circuit in SoCal, Spring Mountain Karting in Nevada, and a highlighted return to Sonoma Raceway. The Texas Sprint Racing Series is offering 5 rounds of racing in 2025, visiting 5 challenging circuits from February to October. Growth continues for SuperKarts USA in Mexico as well, with record numbers for their SCUSA Pro Tour Mexico and the Pro Kart Challenge Mexico Series. Set your calendar for November 12th to 16th with a SuperKarts USA Super Nationals 28 as the event returns to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway for a third straight year. Be part of the largest karting event in North America. For information on all this and more, visit superkartsusa.com. Ready to step up your game? Joining the Rawlison Performance Group is the obvious choice to take your racing to the next level. Industry-leading driver development is provided by our staff of multi-time national champions, Super Nationals winners, and Team USA members. And at the same time, RPG continues to be a national-level powerhouse race team. Our goal is to help you raise your game and win races. We work with all age groups and are focused on developing those cadet and junior drivers who are ready to take the next step in their racing program. Rawlison Performance Group has set a new standard with our in-house engine program, AVP Engines, headed by Alex Vincent. AVP has become the benchmark in IAME competition. We have the largest OTK inventory that follows our race team, providing trackside parts at all the major events in North America. RPG also offers multilingual support with French, Spanish, and Portuguese-speaking staff. If you want to fight for championships or want to improve your skills and your chances to win, the answer is to call RPG at 503-260-4514. The Rawlison Performance Group. We race to win. All right, we're back with this edition of This Week in Karting, a new segment here for episode number 87. It's called What's Hot. We've got a couple of topics. David came up with this idea. He wants to just chatter on about a couple of topics here. Let's and I like it. This will be interesting. And we, of course, we haven't discussed this yet, so this is going to be full on, straight up first take. David, penalty points is the first topic you've come up with. CKNA and the Texas Sprint Racing Series implement their own systems through Race Select in regards to penalty points, which I'm in big favor of. I love the idea.
I was trying to come up with a sound bite, like "what's hot," kind of thing, but it didn't. I wasn't able to get that through. So yeah. Again, brainchild, just kind of coming up with some new things, and this is certainly a topic. Been kind of the one of the social media things. It's quite interesting because it's trying. I think basically what they're trying to do is hold people accountable for the mistakes they make out on the racetracks. So I like the idea of this. It gives kind of the competitors an idea. Hey, I'm committing way too many because there's penalties on top of accumulating these penalty points. So
yeah,
that's the unique part about it. The biggest problem I have with this, Rob, and I keep going back to this, is it's going to be different for everybody. There isn't a uniform structure in terms of penalty points. So what may give you 15 points at this program may only give you 10 at this program. So that's the only kind of problem I have with it. Well, I do like the idea of holding drivers accountable for what they do, but I think it should, in terms of that, should be kind of the same across the board.
So uniformity.
Uniform.
So here's my thing. Yes, if CKNA and Texas Sprint Racing Series are doing this right now, quick phone call with them together saying, hey, listen, if you get with this, it's this many points. This is this many points. That'd be great. I will say this. I really like it because we use it in the USF Pro Championships. Now we have, it's essentially 1 point. So we have some thresholds. I'll just give you kind of an overview of how we do it. I love it because I'd love to have the karters understand it, that when they get into cars, if they do end up coming up to USF juniors or whatever it may be.
That could be an article.
Yeah, so it could be. So what we do in the USF Pro Championships is, and it's not myself, it's Joel Miller, it's Bull Barfield, it's Charlie Kimball, it's Gerardo Badilla, who are our race directors in race control. When they go back and look at videos, and if you have incident responsibility, you're going to get a point or 2 points or however many points. Doesn't it's depending on the severity of it and the incident and how it's happened. And, was it a mistake that you made a mistake and you're still going to get a point? Or did you try to do it? So it's going to be 2 or 3 points or whatever it may be. But I love the idea because we got to get to a place where, listen, if you get to 10 points, let's say whatever number it is, if you get to 10 points, you sit down for a race. You don't race on Sunday. If you hit your penalty points on Saturday, you're done. You sit down. right? And you can have a sliding scale. It can be a 12-month sliding scale. It can be a 6-month sliding scale, whatever you want it to be. But like you said before, there's got to be some kind of accountability, because you can't just go out there and get race after race after race, get all these penalties and never have anything in the end. Yeah, you have the immediate penalty of losing spots, whatever it may be. But if they all start adding up because you have this run of the way you drive, you should be sat down for a race or suspended for a year. It all depends on how they want to play it. But I love the idea of the ultimate accountability at the end of the day.
Well, here I'll tell you, Texas Sprint Racing Series has, if a driver accumulates 15 penalty points, they will automatically be excluded from the next scored session they are scheduled to compete in, whether it be qualifying heat or main event, within the next 5 Texas Sprint Racing Series events, regardless of class.
Yeah.
25 points will get you disqualification for the remainder of the event, at which they reach that threshold and will be suspended for the next event on the TSRS calendar.
Fantastic.
Now, my question to you, Rob, because I've heard you talk about this in the car world, they show the penalty points. They publish the penalty points for all to see.
Well, no. So what we do is, at least at USF, we publish a penalty report, and everybody gets it. Team owners, drivers, parents, everybody sees it. So they know that the families and the team owners know the penalties are being put down for issues, but we don't say how many points. It just says points with the extra the brackets around the S. So points, it's either 1 point or multiple. We don't tell you how many. They don't tell you how many you get, and they don't let anybody know where anybody is. Because the last thing you'd want is somebody to know, hey, this guy's at 9 points, 10's the threshold. I'm going to pressure him into making it, to wreck me or whatever it may be. So he sits. We don't want anybody to know what anybody else has, so that you don't get that kind of a situation.
Yeah, just to let you know, so they implemented this at the Kart Moto event. There's one driver that accumulated 10.2 points. So they are basically 4.8 points away from losing a session. So,
well, that's a perfect example. Then there's that one driver who's done it more than one time, or enough points throughout a race weekend that they're almost going to get set off in the next one. That's perfect. And it's another layer of responsibility, accountability, and to try to clean up the racing. I like it.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Again, like I said, I'd like it to be more uniformed across all of karting, at least in the United States. Again, that's where we have a national organization that helps monitor the sport, but that's another podcast. So that's where I was going with that more than, but I did want to get your viewpoint, because again, you guys do use it in the car world. I'd like to see, maybe we work on during September an article about that. Talking about, hey, penalty points are a thing. Even get Bo Barfield to maybe talk about it in the car world, because I don't know exactly what IMSA does. I don't know what some of the other car racing programs do. Of course, NASCAR does whatever they want to do. IndyCar, I don't think, has a penalty point system either. But that's the kind of the upper echelon of motorsports, where, yeah, sports car racing, you get some guys out there that are kind of gentleman drivers that cause a lot of trouble. Maybe.
Well, David, listen, what does happen in IndyCar racing, you see a lot of it, is drive-through penalties. If you take, like, we don't do that. Let's do a drive-through, right? That's when back, a number of years ago, when I told one of the race directors, I said, if you want to stop the stuff, don't just throw black flags. Like, right or wrong, we thought you took a guy out, so we black flagged you off the track. You may be right or you may be wrong. Bottom line is it's done. Right? There's no penalties. There's no protesting. You got black flagged off. Will Power, I think, at Laguna Seca got a drive-through penalty for taking somebody out. It's finite, right?
Well, that takes me to my next topic, Rob.
Here we go. I know.
Which is
segue.
Let the racers settle it on the track, or we need to be professionals. You talking about black flagging somebody off the racetrack? They did that to.
I heard you
said that. I can never say his name. The Frenchman, shift car driver.
Quarantine or Rousseau?
No, that's the same person.
Renaudin.
Yeah, Adrian Renaudin.
Yes.
During a heat race, black flagged him for what I believe was a Euro swerve.
The Euro swerve.
So it's kind of like, okay, so you can't Euro swerve, but you can bump and run all you want all race long. So which, it's again, there's no uniformity across karting, and I think that's kind of the biggest complaint from the racers, maybe, because again, the bump and run in Houston was okay. Now we know what the level we can go to. We saw the bump and run all Sunday between Morgado and Budajo. But of course, Morgado went even further by taking them both off the racetrack.
Yeah, but he settled it on the track as
right.
Your first
so
point.
He settled it on the racetrack. So again, are we going to let the racers settle it on the racetrack, or do we want to be more professional?
Is this what you're asking me to jump in on?
I'm asking which is your viewpoint?
Well, again, when I lean to what happened at IndyCar or what we do in USF, and I think if you take a guy out, there needs to be a penalty. I understand the whole concept of, hey, listen, we'll just settle it on the racetrack ourselves. But I think at some point, there's certain penalties it's just a penalty. A penalty is a penalty. If you're roughing a driver up, you're side by side with them, you're bumping pods. There are some stuff that race control, it's not within the rules. It's not like, so I guess I can say that there's some stuff that's within the rules and there's some stuff that's spirit and intent. Right, if you're running up front like that, you guys, and there's a bit of a bump and run here and there. The Bailiff and Musgrave bump and run, that was a bump and run for a race win, right? Billy went to the inside, tight on the inside line, had to break a bit earlier. I don't know that it was a full hardcore bump and run more than Bailiff was kind of going to the inside, was probably going to give him a little bit of a move, but because Billy stopped so much, it was more aggressive than it was. But with Budajo and Morgado, Andrew moved him like 3 times. So sooner or later, you're going to get him coming back the other way. It's whether or not, like, the race control could 100% said, you come off, it's a 5-position penalty for Budajo for contact, instant responsibility, whatever it may be. I still believe that that within the rule book of how to race, the race directors still need to go by the rule book. But then there's a little bit of that, let the racers handle it afterwards. But like the thing with IndyCar. It's a drive-through penalty for Will Power. He caused the spin that took another driver out. You're going to get that 100%. You're going to get, and I think you should have that drive-through or that penalty.
Well, again, it's tough to judge because you look at NASCAR; those are quote unquote professionals, and we see some of the stuff that goes on there. But it's not open wheel stuff. Essentially what we're racing. But then people call karting bumper carts because of the bumpers we do have on the carts. So it's almost a judgmental thing. There is never going to be a right or a wrong. It's going to be trying a happy medium, and it's always going to be kind of levitating.
Well,
this way or that way. I think that's how karting is always going to be. We
also deal with a mindset nowadays where kids, like, they don't know how to use the word defending. I'm defending. Defending is making a proper move. They're coming out of a corner. Because again, I lean to what we do in cars like in IndyCar and USF. You can't move in reaction. So if we come out of a corner and I make a move to come to the inside of you, let's say it's turn 5, David Road America, that racetrack. At turn 5, the braking zone. If I immediately come behind you and I immediately come to the left to try to beat you up to the top of the hill under the bridge, and you come across in front of me, moving in reaction to what I've done, that's a penalty.
Yeah, I think most drivers understand that. I think a lot of drivers overreact.
They don't. Because they don't use the word. That's where I'm going with. They don't use the word defense. They block. Why wasn't able to block good enough? Block. It's all. Right. They know there's defending and there's blocking, and I think they're black and white. They're different.
I think a lot of people use the same terms.
But they're not the same.
Equate the terms the same.
Yeah, so. And they're not. So if you come out of that corner and you immediately move to the left before I've done it, you've defended. You've taken the position to the inside of the track. You're not allowed to come back to the outside of the racetrack, as we know, right? You can have a second move. That's a defense.
I think people say just block because we're lazy and they don't want to say defense.
But in my term, in my idea, it's the wrong term.
Right. I know it's wrong. Yeah. It's proper English versus American English. Yes.
And that's how there's 1,000. Every time you go, NASCAR goes to Talladega or wherever they go to, there's wreck after wreck after wreck because they don't defend, they block. The minute the guy moves, they come across in front of them, they get hooked. And then you're wrecking thousands of dollars worth of equipment.
And again, I've always been on if you defend, you should expect to get a little contact from
100%. If I did in a cart, not in cars, but in a cart, if I defend to the inside, I'm ready for the shot. I'm tensing my shoulders up because you're going to get tapped. You're going to, especially if you do it once, maybe not. If you do it 4 or 5 times in a row, you got to expect that you're going to get moved a little bit, 100%. And that doesn't bother me. But it was a proper defensive move to the inside. It wasn't a block. And that's one of the things I don't like is the block, the full-on block.
Yeah, I think it'll always be, like I said, an ever moving target to between the two, whether it's settling it on the racetrack or letting the officials call it. So it'll always be a moving stick.
There you go, Dave. Here's your first hot topics.
It's what's
hot take. It's
hot
take.
Hot.
You were trying to be Paris Hilton, were you?
Yeah.
You 100% were. Crazy. That's hilarious. All right, one more break, folks. When we get back, we'll tell you what we have up on deck for ECAN podcast, what's playing on the ECAN radio network, and we'll tell you what's coming up on ECAN in the next couple of weeks. Take advantage of the deals available through RTX USA Group, an official distributor for Rotax karting products in the United States. RTX USA Group provides Rotax engines, Mojo tires, and XPS products to dealers and competitors in the southern U.S. states, from their base in Florida all the way to California. Take advantage of their engine purchase offer, which gives you 2 sets of Mojo D5 tires when you purchase a Rotax Max Evo or the Rotax DD2 Max Evo. For those looking to add a Rotax Micro Max Evo MY20 or a Rotax Mini Max Evo MY-I20 to their lineup, those customers will be provided with 2 sets of Mojo D2 tires. Customers who purchase a Rotax Junior Max Evo won't be left out, also receiving 2 sets of Mojo D2 tires. RTX is also introducing the new Mojo Club, with opportunities to save on Mojo tires by bundling them together. Learn more about becoming a dealer or joining the Mojo Club by visiting rtxkarting.com today. Are you a club racer looking for that next challenge, or a driver searching for more racing? Look no further than the leading karting series in the Midwest. The Route 66 Sprint Series is focused on providing a fun, family atmosphere while also offering a perfect stepping stone for those at the club level looking to take their racing to the next phase. With 9 different classes, the Route 66 Sprint Series has racing for all ages, utilizing IAME and Briggs & Stratton engines. The 4-event Route 66 Sprint Series calendar has stopped at some of the Midwest's finest karting facilities this season, kicking off the season at Whiteland Raceway Park in Indiana before traveling to the historic Road America in June. The series is coming off a return to the Norway Motorsports Park in Illinois and is now setting up for their season finale at Millwright Raceway, the home of the Badger Kart Club, on August 22nd to 24th. Whether you're trying to make the step up to regional racing or a seasoned pro of the sport, the Route 66 Sprint Series is right for you. For more information, go to Route66kartracing.com and find us on social media at Route 66 Sprint Series. Welcome back. Final segment here of the EKN This Week in Karting. It is episode 87, August the 5th. Rob Howden and David Cole. David, let's wrap things up. Let's talk about what we got going podcast-wise, ECAN radio network-wise. What are you playing right now on the network?
Just make sure you head to wherever you get your podcasts. Head to iTunes, Spotify, Podbean. You can even get our podcast on the YouTube channel as well. So make sure you go and subscribe to get our podcast. Give us a review as well. And then again, make sure you check out the ECAN Radio Network, 24 hours, 7 days a week channel, only karting radio station in the world. So make sure you do check that out as well.
You can download
obviously, you're listening to a podcast already, so you could be on the radio network already or a podcast. So again, make sure you share those as well. So
if you haven't downloaded the ECAN Radio Network, you can do that, or ekartingnews.com/radio. We just play stuff 24/7. David does a lot of rewinds where he goes and plays our live audio coverage of events from years past, which is always fun to listen to. But as David said, lots of podcasts coming, and as always, around every one of our ECAN Trackside live events, the Outlap Preview podcast and the Debrief Race Report podcast as well. David, you're cranking stuff up onto podcasts up onto YouTube too, right now?
Yeah, as I said, you can get all our YouTube or all our podcasts through YouTube as well. So that's an option or an avenue as well. So again, lots of it. We're doing USPKS and Rock Island Grand Prix rewinds right now for the month of August. We got USPKS coming up and Rock Island after that.
Yeah, let's jump on that. What's coming up, as we said, August the 15th to 17th. David's going to be down back at Newcastle Motorsports Park just over, 10 days' time for the Indiana Grand Prix. David, ready for that one?
Yeah, set to decide this year's champions at the Newcastle Motorsports Park once again for the USPKS. 6 of the 7 categories up for grabs as Pro or X30 Pro is already decided, with Ryan Norbert picking up another championship. So I'm actually working on the spreadsheet right now.
I bet. There you go. A couple weeks time after that, he'll be at the Rock Island Grand Prix, the Labor Day Classic in Rock Island, Illinois. If you're going to YouTube, we actually had a face-to-face show just last week with Roger Ruthart, Keith Freeber from Margay and the Ignite Karting program. Ty Scher joined us as well. So lots of good insight into the Rock Island Grand Prix. That's Labor Day weekend. And then, David, we're going to wait about a month after that. You and I both have a majority of September off, which is great. The Cup Karts North America Grand Nationals 9, Newcastle Motorsports Park. Potential, but over 500 for the Super Nationals. It's going to bolt over 500 pretty quickly for the Grand Nationals as well. The biggest 4-cycle kart race in North America set to go at the end of September.
It's the biggest karting event in North America with over 585 entries, I think, last year.
Well,
so again,
if you go, is it entries or drivers? Right.
Wow.
Again,
which do you want to look at? Yeah.
We'll figure it out. We're going to have to figure that out.
Because again, we have a double duty drivers at Super Nationals as well. So there's not exactly 500 some odd drivers there either. So
sure enough, it'll be interesting to find that number. I'm not doing double duty this year either. You're not even racing this year. You can take the year off.
Yeah, taking this year off. Going to do the coverage starting Thursday evening or Friday morning, depending on when I get down there. Got some family activities that week. So yeah, I'm going to take the year off. There is a kart in a garage, so if I do get bored, maybe I'll start dead last. And
hey, now you're talking. There you go.
We'll see.
All right, folks. That wraps things up for this edition of This Week in Karting, episode 87. As I had said, thank you so much for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Lots coming, as we know. We'll get kicked off for the US PKS, EK, and trackside coverage next week. We'll be recording the Outlap preview podcast earlier in the week, likely on Monday, as I'll be out in Portland for the USF Pro Championships finale. But David will be there trackside for that event as well. We've got another This Week in Karting already on the schedule when I get back from a mid-August vacation. Hope you enjoyed it, folks, and enjoyed David's new That's Hot.
What's hot?
What's hot?
You can't do it, Rob. You're too old.
Let me. What do you got, Dave? Let's try one more time.
What's hot?
Perfect way to end it. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We do appreciate it. On behalf of David Cole, my name is Rob Howden. Bye for now.